neighbor of mine who's also struggled and who has attempted suicide, and who is transgender, and they all just came over at the same time yesterday, and I just was in tears because it just like, gosh, I need to stop crying. It's just amazing to be able to like it just brings so much meaning out of something that was so like, I was just talking, well, let me show you these first before I get into that. He made this one for my rearview mirror, which is so cool. Look at that. And then these are the keychains, and then I have a bracelet too, but we're moving stuff right now, so I just moved it into my room, so I'm not even going to attempt to go find it right now. But and his goal is to help provide funding for research and to help families who, like us, who have been left behind after suicide and or struggles with mental illness or whatever. And I just think it's amazing. But I was talking to my aunt today, who she comes up to help with my kids once a week. She and Winnie are like best buddies, and after my mom passed away, she became my side grandma, kind of, you know, to help out. She hates that I call it that because she doesn't want to replace my mom, but she's not replacing my mom. She's taken over some of the responsibility since my mom can't be here, and you know, I'm sure she wishes she could. And my mom was so excited to be a grandma, so the fact that like my aunt gets to help out is amazing. But my aunt's a social worker, and we were just having a conversation about it, how like she was like, I still cannot, like, because I said to her, I said I had a moment yesterday where I was just driving and I was like, wait, what? Like, I still have these moments when I'm just like, he was fine. He was fine up until literally a few days before. Like, there were not signs, and I want to make it clear that he did suffer most of his life from depression, anxiety, but he was fine. And it wasn't one of those like he got really happy before he died, because he was stable for like 5 years. Well, I knew him for 5.5, and he was stable for that, and I knew he'd been stable for a while before that. He had his ups and downs and his stuff, and he had some anxiety with medical stuff, but for the most part, he really was very stable and very healthy mentally and in a good place. And I just, and these things just triggered him. And as my aunt and I were discussing it today, I mean, these things that we found out about just prior to triggered a lot of memories in Dani, and he had things started coming up from his past and from his childhood, and things he'd endured and things he'd done and things he'd been forced to do, and he just had been through so much, and it was all brought back. Like it like set him off, and it just was all brought back. And there really weren't like signs, and he was so good. Like, he was successful and like happy. He wasn't just like okay, like he was happy. He was a doting father and husband, and he loved those girls. That's why none of us thought ever in a million years, even when he disappeared for a day, never did we think that it would be suicide, because like, yeah, just he was happy. What happened is that he found out about something that happened to someone we love a lot, and it brought back all of this stuff and triggered some memories. I believe that there were quite a few repressed memories that came up. He told me many of them, but I think there were more that I didn't know about. And now looking back on it, that were brought up in just those last couple days, like I've said before, he got so stressed out and started like, I don't know, pacing a lot, and just was really I don't think he was sleeping for a good couple days before. I don't think he was eating very much. And I was talking to my aunt again, who's a social worker. She has some credibility here. I don't, she does. But just by the things that he'd said the days before and stuff, we don't think he was planning. I think that it was that night, after we'd had some talks about some of this stuff and talked about how we were going to get through it and how we were going to do it together and whatever, and therapy and whatever. I think I went to sleep, and I think he got in his head, and I think he didn't sleep and he didn't eat for days, and I think he was so high anxiety that he just wasn't thinking straight, because it just sent him right back to like where he was way back when. And I don't know, I genuinely do not believe he was planning up until, I mean, I think when he left the house and was gone for a day before they found him, a day and a half, I do think at that point he knew, because he took a clipboard with him when he left, and there was no other reason for him to take a clipboard than to write suicide notes. And so I think at that point he knew. But I think my aunt even said, had he waited it out 24 hours, he never would have made that decision. And I really think he just got so in his head and could not think straight with all, I don't know. It's still, I just still go through these phases where I'm like, what? Like, how did I end up here? He was just the best dad and husband, and I'm like, I don't know, I just can't. It's hard, it's just hard to comprehend. The whole point of this video, what I'm trying to say is that, like, even with how, like, just horrible it is, like, the fact that, oh my gosh, this is so embarrassing. The fact that I've been able to help people, it just means the world to me. And it does bring healing, and I'm sorry if I can't respond to messages, or if I like this week, Tom got sick, and then I was supposed to do the podcast, and I just got so busy and distracted and overwhelmed with stuff, and I just thank you for, like, supporting me, and for, like, being, like, people who lift me up and who, like, keep encouraging me to keep going, and that, like, I can do this. And thank you for, like, being patient with my struggles, and, like, I know that that's kind of the point, is me, like, showing you my struggles, so that's why I'm not, like, this is embarrassing, but I'm not gonna, like, I want to show you how it really is, and this is how it is. It's hard. But and I'm so glad that helps people, but thank you for, like, still being just someone a long time ago, like, earlier, like, well, not a lot, like, a couple months ago, said to me, like, something about how they love this little corner of the internet that gosh, I am emotional today. This little corner of the internet that I've been able to create, like, this safe place of love and understanding, and just for people to go and be like, yeah, life is hard sometimes, and that's okay, and we can still, like, get through it and support each other and love each other. And I just, like, I'm so glad that somehow I was able to, like, start that magically, but, like, it's because of, like, each of you who keeps commenting and liking and supporting, and, like, I can't take back what Dani did, although I'm sure he would, and I wish I could for him, but I can't. It sucks that I'm in this situation, that my girls are in this situation. I hate it for us, and I hate anyone having to be in this situation, but the best thing that could come out of it is me being able to help other people and heal while doing so, and that is what's happening, and it's incredible. And by the way, I'm not like a psycho. That's my wedding picture, and we moved my frames around and that's empty. We moved my frames around for one of my interviews and had different pictures in there, and it was like the KSL interview that was like, I don't know, 3 months ago, and I still haven't fixed it, but I did get a new dinner table. This has been like a big week for me because I decided I needed to do something for me that like felt like I was like, how do I explain this? Like moving upward. And Dani and I were looking at houses, and we were about to buy a house, and we had almost put offers down on several houses actually, and right before he died. Like, I think last time we went to go see a house was maybe a week or two before he died, and we were looking every day. That was what we were doing. And sorry, I lose my train of thought a lot. It still happens. Oh, we were gonna buy a dinner table when we bought a house, so that it could fit our house and like whatever the space was, and you know, whatever. But so I finally bought one. IKEA, super cool. And it's like a big deal for me, and I'm getting a smaller bed, and I'm kicking my kids out of the bed, and I'm gonna make them sleep on a little like futon in my room instead of in my bed if they want to be in my room. Like, I'm doing these things for me to like feel stable, to feel settled, to feel, I don't want to feel like we're just in our in-between house anymore, because we're gonna be here for a while. And we were only gonna live here a year, and we ended up being here, we've been here 2 years now, and we were gonna buy a house, you know. And I don't know, so I'm proud of myself for doing that, but it's been overwhelming and a lot of emotions, and I haven't switched my pictures out, so that's really cool. You know, some things go to the back burner when you're dealing with crap. But please go support Jake. These are awesome. They are for families like moi who have been left behind, and the proceeds go straight to me and people like me, and to other families, and to research, so that we can find more ways to stop suicide. Because there are, for those of you who don't believe in suicide prevention, I want you to know that there are scientifically proven ways to lessen the rates of suicide. There are ways. And I met an incredible lady at the concert last week that has been talking to me about some of those, and as soon as I have some time to sit down, I'm gonna go through them so I can start working on it and finding some ways that I can be more proactive in the community and helping with that. And I'm gonna get some training done, and I still won't be a professional, I'll just have a little bit more knowledge. And I am so sorry for this long rambling video. If you have stayed the whole time, you are an American hero, or an Australian hero, or a UK hero, or wherever you are. There's even some like South American heroes out there who, I mean, there's lots of South American heroes and heroes everywhere, but I mean, like, for my page, there are people everywhere. Let me know in the comments where you're from. If you listen to this whole thing, tell me. Let's see. Write the word blueberry, and then tell me where you're from in the comments. And people will be like, what the? And then you'll be like, well, I actually listened to the whole 400 hours of her talking about nothing and crying. It's pretty cool. What a good way to spend your time. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to me cry, and for supporting me, my girls. Thank you for every single prayer. I'm just really grateful right now, if you can't tell, and really humbled. I'm super humbled to be in the position I am in. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Seriously, thank you so much.